Hello 8th graders, I'm back and this time we are taking the whole quiz together. All 5 problems. We'll see how long this takes me. Check the length of the YouTube video. That's probably how long it took. And of course I'm adding in a lot of extra talking and explanation as well. So we've got 5 questions, and again the quiz, if I haven't mentioned it yet, it's the 8th grade math linear equations and functions quiz. You'll find it on Khan Academy. Complete the missing value in the solution to the equation. This is our first problem. Now keep in mind with ordered pairs, the first value is always x, the second value is y. Alright, so we are given y, so we can plug 8 into this y value here. And this should be fairly straightforward. Let's see what happens. 2x plus, now let's just do the math. Can we do the math together? 3 times y, y is 8, so this is 24, right? 24 equals 12. And then my next step is always to simplify the equation to group like terms. This is an equal sign, by the way. I hope that's clear. To group like terms. And so I want the number. Right now I've got numbers on both sides of the equal sign. I want all the numbers on this side. So I can do that a couple of different ways. What I'm going to do is bring the 24 to the other side. And I'll do that by getting rid of the 24 on the left side. So remember, we're allowed to do anything we want, add, subtract, multiply, divide, as long as we do it to both sides. And I'll make it really clear in a second here what I'm doing. So what I just did is I added negative 24 to both sides of the equation. Okay, negative 24 to both sides of the equation. And that's going to get rid of this 24, right? Because 24 minus 24 is 0. So let's see what we have now. 2x, write it over here. 2x, and then these two cancel, equals, what's 12 minus 24? Well, takes us, the minus 24 takes us back to 0. So 12 minus 12 is 0. And then we're subtracting another 12, so our answer now is, or our value now is minus or negative 12. Okay, we're almost there. How do we simplify? How do we isolate x? We can do it by dividing both sides by 2. These will cancel out. That gives us x minus negative 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6, but it's got a negative value here. So our value up here is going to be negative 6. There we go. Let's move on. Oh, I haven't seen one of these problems yet. Melissa made 3 batches of oatmeal cookies. Her recipe calls for amounts of sugar in cups and flour in cups in the following ratios. Oh, we've got a graph here. Okay, fun. Cups of sugar. Batch 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of flour. Oh, wow. Okay. What is the unit rate of change of flour, y, with respect to sugar, x? Okay, so we've got x values and y values. That is how much flour corresponds to 1 cup of sugar. Ah, okay. So let's start by graphing these. Now, when I go to plot values on the graph, I want to use these numbers. Let's use a different color. And here's why, because, and I've said this before, but it's difficult to plot fractions on the graph. So we've got sugar as x and flour as y, so keep that in mind. I've got x 4 comma 9, right? So I'm going to start down here, 0 0. And then 4, I just want to be careful here, 4 and 9. Yeah. Now just as a little clue, oh, I can't even see the 4. Might have to zoom out here. That's fine. Okay. So my graph should be positioned correctly. I've got x value is 4, y value is 9, right? Now the question is, how much flour corresponds to 1 cup of sugar? So if we kept going, well, we can look right at the graph. That'll give us a clue. It's going to be about 2.5, it looks like. And let's look at how much these are going down by. Those are not easy fractions to deal with. But those are going down by 2 1/4. I'm going to hope that you can see how I got there. 9, the difference between 9 and 7, let's say, is 2, right? And then we're taking away an extra quarter here. So 2 1/4. Maybe I'll write that in. I feel like somebody's probably getting lost right now. From here to here is minus 2 1/4. Does that make sense? And then from here to here is minus 2. Oops. 2 1/4. Okay, so they are asking, look, how much flour corresponds to 1 cup of sugar? So if I had 1 cup of sugar, the question is, how much flour would be right here? Well, I would just subtract 2 1/4 again. So 4 1/2 minus 2 is 2 1/2. Subtract another quarter and I should get 2 1/4. So I was close. Looking at the graph, I was close, but my answer is going to be 2 1/4. And if you go back down to the graph, you can see that. I mean, to me, that looks like a half, but the math says it's going to be 2 1/4. All right, so the unit rate of change is, I just want to read this really carefully. What is the unit rate of change of flour Y with respect to sugar? I would say 2 1/4. I'm just hesitating because I don't know whether to write 2.25 or 2 1/4. Let's see if it'll let me stick to the fraction. I feel like this might be right. Oh, wow. You were nice to me, Khan Academy. All right. Before I move on, oh, I should have asked to see their solution. But, yeah. So I'm looking at, I guess, in terms of my advice, look at the difference. You know, watch the difference between each of the Y values. And then, do the math. Okay, question number 3. Which ordered pair is a solution of the equation? So I did one of these already on a separate video, but these are tiring. That's okay. That's okay. If you can do it, I can do it. Which ordered pair is the solution? So we've got x, y, x, y, x, y. And our job is to see which one works. So I'll start at the first one, 4, 5. I'm going to rewrite the equation. Okay, and I'm going to do that plugging in the x and y values. So 2 times 4. And I'm putting the parentheses because, oops, sorry. 2 is right up against y, x, sorry, which means they are going to be multiplied. So I have to remember to multiply these two together. Plus 4 times y, which in this case is 5, equals 6, x is 4, minus does that. Stop selecting all of that text. Okay, whatever. And then minus y is 5. Okay, so let's simplify all of this. We've got 8 plus, okay, I'll just slow down a little bit. 2 times 4 is 8, right? Plus 4 times 5 is 20. So on this side of the equal sign, I've got 28. Right? And then over here, this is 6 times 4, that's 24, minus 5. Yeah, that's close, but no, it's not there yet. It's actually not that close. Alright, so that statement does not work. So, unless I made a mistake there, but I'm going to say A is a no-go. Now let's get rid of all of my work and try the second one. 5, 4. 2. Remember for x, this time I'm going to use 5. I'm putting parentheses here. Plus 4. Y is 4. Equals 6. X, sorry, my mind went to something totally different. Thinking about something happening later today. 6. Nope, that was not on purpose. 6x, right? We need to put in the 5. Minus y is the 4. Okay. Alright, so 2 times 5 is 10. Do I need to write the 10 there? Hopefully not. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 times 4 is 16. So 10 plus 16 is 26. That's what we've got on this side. And, look what we've got here. 6 times 5 is 30. Minus 4 is 26. This is a true statement. So B is correct. Obviously, C cannot be correct because 4, 5 does not work. All right. Okay, feeling good. Moving on. Graph the line. Oh, my face is blocking. Put me up there. Graph the line that represents a proportional relationship between y and x, where the unit rate of change of y with respect to x is 10/7. In other words, a change of 1 unit in x corresponds to a change of 10/7 units in y. Okay, no problem. So I always put the first dot at 0, 0. And then we're told that one unit change in x corresponds to a change of 10/7. So how do we do 10/7? I will suggest the equation. Let's try doing this. You got your x values and your y values. So x is 1, got 10/7. And what we want to get to, we might have to go all the way up to 70. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I'm trying to do here, grade 8s, is I'm trying to get the y value to a whole number. I think I'm going about this a little bit incorrectly. Based on the area of the graph. Here's what I was going to do. 20 over 7. 30 over 7. Yeah, we're just going to end up at the same. I'll just finish this thought. 50 over 7. 60 over 7. Oops, it looks like a backwards E or something. 70 over 7. So x is 7. X is 7, and y is, yeah, this is right. Y is 70 over 7, or 10, right? So, I mean, we kind of had that value right at the beginning, but, okay, x is 7, so let's make sure this is lined up correctly. So I've got x, 7, 10, y. See that? X, 7, 10. What I'm saying is 70 over 7 is the same as 10. So my graph is correct, I know that. The equation, I'm a little anxious about. Like I want to just write 10 over 7. I think maybe what they're looking for is this. Y equals x times, nope, don't do that. Over 7. Hope I'm writing that correctly. But does that make sense? So y is always going to be whatever x is times 10 over 7, which is 1 3/7. Yeah, I hope I'm doing that correctly. All right, let's give it a shot. Yes. Rewind the video if you didn't follow my process there. I just wanted to be really careful on that I'm not making any false assumptions. Last question. Complete the missing value in the solution to the equation. No problem, no problem. So -3 is x. What is y, right? Now this equation looks really scary, but it's not too bad. So let's copy the equation, plugging in the value of x, and here we're going to be using the distributive property. Let's use blue. I just prefer blue. Y minus 4. See, this is the great thing about being a teacher, is you get to choose your own color in your demonstration videos. So much freedom. I'm not being sarcastic there. All right, it's actually pretty fun. Okay, so distributive property says we're going to apply this -2 to the x, and we're going to apply the -2 to the y, or to, sorry, to the x and to the 3, to both values in the parentheses. That's where I was going with that. So -2 times x is going to be, x is -3. -2 times -3 is going to be +6. A negative times a negative is a positive. And -2 times +3 is going to be -6, because a negative times a positive is a negative. So that, what I just said there, the multiplication rules for integers, is something we didn't really spend a lot of time on this year, and maybe we should. I'm just gonna, maybe I'll write the rules here for you for the multiplication rules. So a negative, oops, I can't write it there. A negative times a negative is a positive. And then, a positive times a positive, obviously positive, right? 2 times 2 is 4, positive 4. But then if you have different signs, a negative times a positive, then it's going to be negative. Your solution will be negative, right? And you can flip that. The same is true in reverse. Positive times negative is a negative. Okay, back to our problem. So we've got y minus 4 equals 6 plus negative 6. Those are going to cancel out. Interesting. I think I can see the solution happening here. So let's get rid of this 4. Let's put it to the other side, and we'll do that by adding a 4, right? And remember, I'm allowed to do anything I want, add, subtract, multiply, or divide, as long as I do it to both sides of the equation. 6 plus negative 6. Is that confusing? Plus minus together? Let's put parentheses right there. 6 plus negative 6 plus 4. Now remember, the reason I'm adding plus 4 there is because whatever I do to the left side, whatever I bring into the equation, I need to bring in on both sides, just to keep it even. Alright, so these two are canceling out. Negative 4 plus 4. The temperature went minus 4 degrees Celsius, and then it got 4 degrees warmer. It's back to 0. So we've got just y on this side. And over on this side, these two cancel. 6 minus 6. So all we're left with is 4. So just like that, our equation has been solved, right? Y equals 4. That is the end of the quiz. So the hardest question for me, being honest here, was the fourth one. So I would go back and just follow my process really carefully there if that is confusing for you as well. But hopefully those answers help you figure out how to move forward and help you demonstrate your absolute best proficiency. Good luck.